Let's build another great unclean one.
Hello everybody, and welcome back to another Let's Build. Yes guys, I have decided to take it upon me to run 2 Let's Builds. I'm going to do the Let's Build of my lair, and also, if you haven't guessed by the title, I'm going to also be building another great unclean one. Just to keep it fresh, to keep it different. However guys, what you might be thinking is, what am I going to use the great unclean one? I'm going to do a scratch build. Am I going to get the Forge World model? Fuck no, I'm not going to get the Forge World model, no way. Am I going to get that other one, like the Privateer Press model? I don't even know which one it is, but no, I'm not going to do that because they're all very expensive. I'm going to use, and this is an idea that Spud Tate actually gave me. By the way, thank you for this idea, Spud. And also, thank you for sending me the base for my great unclean one. Yes, that's right guys, I'm going to be using a Lord of the Rings Goblin King action figure in order to build this miniature. Now, as you can see, it's absolutely massive. I believe that the Forge World one stands approximately 4 and a bit inches tall in regards to its total height. Now, here is a steel ruler. Note, 4 inches. 4 inches. The Forge World one would not even comes up to this thing's waist. This is going to be truly titanic. It's going to take an absolute metric crap ton of green stuff, and a lot of milliput as well. Because the base of it actually is really, really good. I mean, it's articulating. You can pose it in whichever way you want. However, I'm not going to keep the articulation, which is sad to say, because as an action figure, this is quite cool, actually. One of the better quality action figures that I've actually seen for Lord of the Rings. I'm going to probably position it... God damn it, I've got to move the flaming camera back in order to get it all in shot. I'm probably going to have him like this, with his arm up in the air. Might have something coming out of his hand, I don't know. His arm is going to be down at the side like that with some kind of mad weapon. Now, the issue that I'm going to have with this is obviously these bits here, covering up all the joints and stuff in order to make this thing a static model. Also, as well, me and Spud were discussing base sizes for this. And it turns out that in the end, I was going to try and use a 10mm base, a 100mm base on this, and it just wouldn't. It is still too small. So in the end, I'm going to have to use a CD in order to base this thing on, which just about fits it perfectly. And the only thing is I have issues with CDs is the fact that they, yeah, not so good at staying on slanty surfaces, such as gaming tables, but I'm going to have to try and get around that somehow. I was planning to, like, trim it down or cut it, but there's also this, like, plastic skirt thing's going to have to go. But anyway, guys, sit back and enjoy. Let's build a great unclean one. Okie dokie guys, so let's kick it off. I first started by trying to remove the plastic skirt. Now, you guys are witness, you guys are privy to the titanic struggle that I had trying to remove this fucker. This bastard skirt was so tough. I started clipping it away in stages and thought to myself, I know, I'll just use the beast mode strength to try and rip the fucker off. But no, it didn't work. It was very, very tough, rubbery plastic. I was like, fucking, you bastard, come on. So I tried ripping it off with pliers. I tried stabbing it with knives. I tried using saws. I tried everything to try and get rid of this bastard. And it just wouldn't go. In the end, it eventually did give, though. But fucking, I was just sawing it and everything. It was like... I think this was properly attached to the miniature itself, and in the end I actually left quite a bit of it still there, so I just thought, fuck it, I'm just going to cover it up in regards to how it looks. But as you can see there, fucking so much effort going into just trying to take it off. This bit was by far the hardest. You see me just straining, like, trying to get it off. But anyway, so then I had a little mess about with it, had a little bit of a play with the action figure. Just to try and get in the right position. I didn't know what position I wanted the arms to go in. I kind of wanted the legs to be standard, you know, just quite static, but the arms, that was going to be the main issue. So then I cracked out some milliput. And milliput is another epoxy putty that you can use, and it dries as hard and as durable as stone once it's mixed. I'm using super fine because I find it easier to manipulate, because it's got that little bit of an extra... It's just a lot smoother in your hands. Now, the trick when using the superfine milliput, because both of the two-part epoxies are white, the way to know when it's gone is to when it goes really, really doughy in your hands. Now, the only thing that I would say with milliput is it's very, very messy. As you can see there, guys, I'm getting a lot of it coming off on my hands, and your hands get very, very sticky, which is annoying. And I've got to admit, my computer mouse is pretty much fucked now, because every now and again I would try and change something on my computer, and yeah, it's covered in milliput now, so whoop-de-fucking-do. But yeah, so I was using the milliput because once I removed the skirt, I realised that there was like nothing pretty much behind that, and it just looked wrong to just leave it straight like that. There was like I had a massive chunk missing out of his belly, so I decided to cover up his belly and make his belly a little bit more chunky, a little bit more pot belly, a little bit more rotund, and fill it in with a load of milliput. I would then go over this with green stuff at a later date. I also used the milliput to fix the joints, fix the articulation points on the action figure in place. It was also whilst doing this that I realised that this model is going to weigh an absolute ton when it's fully made. It was heavy anyway because it was like a really high density rubber, but with the added milliput and the green stuff, I mean, as it now, I have it in my hand as I'm recording this, and you could put it in a sack, swing it at someone, and probably kill someone with it. You could use it as a fucking mace. But yeah, so using the milliput to fill in the belly, and then I was going to use the milliput to fix the articulations. Now, see, I've never done this before with an action figure, and I was a bit apprehensive because it was a really nice action figure. And when I was growing up, I never had action figures. My parents would never buy me toys like that. I was quite, you could somewhat call me deprived. not really deprived. I had a really good childhood growing up. But my parents would just never buy me toys. They're always like, it's a waste of money. And yeah, so I was always dead gutted. I used to have to resort to go around to my mate's house who had a shit ton. He had a fucking massive, he had a wheelie bin full of toys. And I just had to go around to his house and play with his. Yeah, so I never had action figures. The only thing I really had was Lego. And I suppose that's what it led to me doing what I do today with the old Warhammer stuff. So yeah, a little bit of insight into a young JoJoMan there, guys. Yeah, bit of a sad story, really. I only had Lego. I mean, Lego is probably one of the best toys, though, to be fair, because, you know, you can make it into anything. And that's probably where my imagination, that was probably the seed that landed in my imagination that led me to do this, what I do now. But yeah, what else can I talk about the milliputting stage? Yeah, I'll probably do a tutorial video on milliput quite soon, just to show you guys just some of the differences with green stuff and how it can be mixed with other putties and things like that. Why do I always do these dumb commentaries in the fucking morning when I've just woke up? I'm still tired as fuck, so I do apologise, guys. I do apologise. But yeah, so just mixing more milliputs. One of the things that is annoying with milliput is the fact that it doesn't have the elasticity of green stuff. So if you put it, when I was putting it on the joints, when I was actually moving it and trying to reposition it afterwards, I was getting lots of tears and stuff like that. However, I do believe that milliput will dry a lot stronger than green stuff in regards to it won't flex at all. It literally dries rock solid. I mean, I've got the miniature right in the microphone now, and if I tap it with my nail, you can hear that's pretty much just hit it with something else. It dries like plaster, but harder than plaster. It doesn't flake or anything like that. However, the great thing about milliput as well is that you can saw it, you can sand it, you can do whatever, you can drill it, you can do whatever you want with it once it's dry. So if you feel like, if you're using milliput and you've not done something quite right, have no fear, because there is always the opportunity to go in and rework it after it's dried. So yeah, this was me currently resculpting his butt, resculpting his buttocks, resculpting his gluteus maximus, resculpting his ass, man. So I was redoing that because, again, once I took the skirt off, I realised that he didn't really have much of an ass. So I was covering that up. I was also covering up the bit where the grass skirt went into the actual action figure itself. And that was quite interesting to do. I gave it a good lumpy buttocks. It's kind of like I gave him the grapefruit buttocks as I normally. Well, first of all, me and my mates, we sometimes play. Well, we used to play a game called Fruit Salad, which is what we do. We would sit somewhere, like sit outside the train station or a Mackey's, when we were younger, and we would rate girls' arses according to different fruits. You'd have, obviously your 10 out of 10 would be a peach, going right down to grapefruit at the bottom end of the scale, and then if it was drastically bad, then it would be pumpkin. So I'd probably say this guy's a pumpkin arse, actually. And it was so bad that it wasn't actually a fruit, so you couldn't call it. But yeah, I was a dickhead when I was younger. I was an absolute fucking tool. So I do apologise if I have offended any ladies out there with my chauvinistic piggery. But yeah, guys, I'm much more respectful now. Still gave all the fucks and shits and blow-me's and stuff like that, but a lot more respectful. So yeah, what I was thinking, what was running through my mind currently was, what can I do with the back of him? Because it's quite a flat area, quite a good blank canvas, if you will, in order to sculpt on. So first of all, I was thinking, what am I going to do with his buttocks there? I was thinking I'm going to have like some kind of dirty, horrible, prolapsed sphincter sticking out there somewhere, and he's going to be just like shitting nurglings and skeletons and zombies out onto the base when I base him and stuff like that. So I was thinking I definitely want to incorporate some kind of horrible prolapse on there. And then I was thinking to myself, what am I going to do on the back section of it? And I was thinking to myself, I'd really like to, because I really like the typhus model, and I really like the destroyer hives that he has coming out of his back. So I thought to myself, I was going to try and emulate the destroyer hives on typhus. So I set about in my mind, yawn again. I set about in my mind, just planning how I was going to do that, and I'll show you guys how I do that on a later date. I also thought it would be good to kind of emulate the, because the Forge World model has a horrible, dirty, exposed spine, and I thought to myself, fuck it, fuck you, Forge World, I want it too. So I decided I'm going to do that as well at a later date. Now, as you can see there, guys, my milliput's getting really low. Just on the entire lower section of this mini on its own, I used an entire pack of milliput. And milliput isn't cheap. It isn't cheap to buy it on the high street, to buy it in stores. It's about £6 for a pack. You can get greater deals on eBay and stuff, actually, but I was too impatient. And whilst eBay is great for price, a lot of the time my impatience outweighs my wanting for it. So I went down to my local hobby shop and just bought a fuck ton of it. But yeah, I think you can pick like packs of 5 up on eBay for like £6 to £8, which is really, really good if you're planning any large sculpts and stuff. And so yeah, just Google or just eBay milliput and you'll get fuck tons. Milliput comes in. Oh, fuck it, right, shows you, man. You really need to stop doing these fucking dub commentaries when you're tired or when you've just woken up. Face palm. But yeah, milliput comes in terracotta, which is okay, dries a bit more brittle, and it's a lot more porous, so it's not too good. Comes in superfine, which is the stuff that I use. It also comes in regular, which is it's like a yellowy grey putty. It also comes in coarse as well, which is just, you know, really, really rough stuff. It's literally just like clay, the rough stuff. Okay, so what am I doing now? Oh, it also comes in black as well. What am I doing now? I decided I wanted to do some work on the face whilst the milliput dried, so I sliced his nose off and cut his ears off. And this was me actually trying to get through his face, because as much as I liked the facial sculpt on this action figure, it had to go. So I decided to try and heat up my craft knife with a lighter in order to melt through the rubber. However, that was to prove to no avail, because it was just too thick, the rubber. The rubber at the end was about 1.5 centimeters thick on his face. It took an awful lot of effort. So I decided to bring out the big guns and use a power drill and drill his fucking face in. So what I did, I used the larger drill bit for the middle and then used the 2 smaller drill bits at the side. What I could do then is I could then go in with my craft knife and saw it across in order to make a bigger mouth hole for him. In order to make the bigger pie hole. You're going to have a big pie hole, this great unclean one. I was also debating whether or not I wanted to use pointy teeth or round teeth. I just couldn't decide. Anyway, so we started hacking out the mouth, and I wanted it to have like a really big smile, because the great unclean one, Nurgle, is a general happy chaos god. He's not really vengeful. He just, in fact, Nurgle loves life, believe it or not. However, he kind of, how should I say, appreciates the more disgusting forms of life, like bacteria and diseases, because he holds them at the highest. He thinks they're like the highest point in life. But anyway, if you want to learn any more, read Liber Chaotica or read the Chaos Codex, or read the Demon Codex, whatever. Yeah, so then she started cutting out his mouth, and I quite liked it as it was here, but I thought, no, I can't just use that. I can't take credit for whoever sculpted this face, so I had to redo the whole thing. But yeah, as you can see, it was like a really big fat guy mouth with his big massive Jabba the Hutt chin, like so yeah, so I had fun sculpting his face out. It was then I also started thinking about what I'm going to do to the top of his head, because the Goblin King miniature came with this. Fucking hell! Here comes a yawn. The Goblin King miniature comes with this really cool crown, so I wanted to emulate that somehow, but in Nurgle. Now, I know Nurgle is predominantly famous for having like horns and stuff like that, singular horns. However, I wanted to get away from that and make him look a little bit different, but at the same time adding that really nice Nurgle twist. So yeah, don't really know what more I can talk about really. I kind of run out of stuff to talk about. I really need a drink actually, but I can't go because Audacity's recording and I don't like pausing it, and because then I get a time jump issue, and so yeah. Why the fuck has my video stopped? Oh no, there we go. I just left the room for a little while. Ha 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 ha. Right, okay guys. So what we're doing now, we're going to be rolling out a strip of green stuff. Now this green stuff is then going to be elongated. I think. Am I doing that yet? No, I'm not. No, I am not. Sorry. I do these and then record the dub afterwards, so I get a bit forgetful at times with what's going on. I am actually... What am I going to do? Aha! I'm making the eye sock, the eye bit. Now, I wanted to completely resculpt his face in a way, so I put a blob of green stuff down. I then got a little bit more green stuff that I pre-rolled into a ball and just sunk it into that green stuff to make it have like a singular cyclopean eye. I then got some more green stuff, put it round it, top and bottom, to create an eyelid. What I did then was I smoothed it down with my fingers at first, then I went in with my clay shaper, smoothed it down even more, and blended it into the already existing green stuff on the top. I blended it across the eye, so in order to form a rather large eyelid going down. I thought this is a really good way of doing it, because I like Nurgle that are cyclopean, or cyclopses, or cyclopi, or cyclopia, however you want to say it. I was debating whether or not to go for one eye on just, out of where an eye would regularly be, and then a massive fuck off horn, but I decided no, I'm going to do something a little bit different. So now what I'm doing, I rolled out a strip of green stuff, and I am twisting it in order to make some lips. Some lovely lips. Some lovely nurgly lips, and I'm going in and I'm blending them with my clay shape. Sorry about that, guys. That was a bit creepy. Sorry if any of you are wearing headphones. Yeah, apologies for that. But anyway, so I'm making the lips. I then started going in and I was making holes. I was making areas in them so I knew where I was going to put the teeth. Now, in regards to the teeth, I ended up using pre-rolled bits of green stuff. However, I was debating whether or not to have blunt teeth. So I was going to cut up squares of green stuff and do that, but I thought that it would look a bit too comical and it wouldn't look quite as vicious. So what I also did, I also drilled a hole in the top of his head and cut that out because I wanted him to have a face mouth. But I also wanted him to have a head mouth as well, because what I would then do, I would then cut it out and I would add teeth around it and then horns around that, like mandibles, so it looked like he still had a crown. Because after all, he is a great unclean one and he deserves to be a little bit regal. So what we're doing now, we're wrapping the mouth round. We're doing another bit like we did with the face mouth. We're doing a lip, and then what we're going to do is we are going to get, I think it's some pre-rolled green stuff that I had. Basically, what I do when I have leftover green stuff, I pre-roll them into like horns and bits and bobs and circles, just so I can use them in other things. As you can see, adding some blobs of green stuff, because these are what I'm going to sink the horns into. I started off by going in all four corners first, and then I would fill in the gaps there and then with other horns of varying sizes. Now, some of these are just twisted, some of these are twisted and then scraped with a hobby knife. Some of them are gouged with a hobby knife as well, in order just to break them up and make them look a little bit less perfect. I was then going to, after this, I was going to let them dry. I was then going to pull them off and then re-glue them, because green stuff can be used as an adhesive. However, it's never any substitute for super glue or poly cement. As we know, poly cement doesn't stick to green stuff, so you would use super glue in order to do this. What else are we doing now? This is me. I was just taking a picture next to a dreadnought. As you can see there, that is a dreadnought that I just placed down beside him. And it's fucking tiny. barely comes up to his fucking knee. Yeah, I don't know why there's a long period. Oh yeah, I was taking loads of photos and sending them to people over Facebook. Right guys, for this clip, I do apologise for the low light, but I was really itching to work on it some more, so I had to just fucking grin and bear it in order about the light. I also have a better light now, so I can actually do some light recording in the dark and stuff, which is pretty cool. It's a nice bright LED lamp. But yeah, so I started by making a tongue. I used the couscous method in order to make his tongue look really textured and really warty. I then went through with some of the pre-rolled bits of teeth in order to sink it into the green stuff. Now, I was also contemplating using hedgehog quills from Mr. Pidge, because Mr. Pidge has a pet hedgehog, believe it or not, and it sheds quills all the time. So I was going to use some of them as teeth, but I didn't get around to it, so I had to resort to pre-rolled, pre-formed bits of green stuff. But yeah, so the tongue coming out, it was kind of static, just sticking out there, and I didn't like it the way it was. It kind of looks just too, I couldn't be arsed, and I just stuck it on. So what I would then do afterwards, I would then peel it off, peel it up and give it a little bit more three-dimensional, how do you say it? I would make it look a bit more three-dimensional. But yeah, just sticking the teeth in. Now, these teeth are great. However, they are very brittle in regards to when they snap, to snapping off. So I'm gonna have to re-glue them or re-sculpt over the tops of them somehow, and just try and fix them in a little bit more. So yeah, here, as you can see, I've snapped the horns off in order to re-glue them, and I'm re-gluing them now. Oh no, I'm not. Fuck's sake, I really need to do these as soon as I finish videoing them so they're fresh in my mind, so apologies for that, guys. Yeah, doing another tongue on there, and sticking some more teeth in, because I wanted to, you know the Slarak pit from, is it the Slarak pit from Star Wars, Return of the Jedi? Of course you fucking do, everyone knows what the Slarak pit is. I wanted it to kind of look like a mini one of those on top of his head, but with a slight subtle change of the big mandibles and stuff going round the outside. Mandibles go round the outside, round the outside, round the outside. Ooh. Bit of Eminem there. Guess who's back? Back again. JoJo's back. Tell a friend. Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back? JoJo's back. JoJo's back. Yeah, whatever. But anyway, so finally it's daytime again, and I can record in proper light. So I decided I would make my mother go and pick up some milliput for me while she was out and about. Yes, I am that lazy, but I thought, you know what, there's no point in wasting petrol. I might as well ask my mum to grab it while she's out there. But anyway, so, got some more milliput, and I started fixing the arms in place. Now, the great thing with milliput is, if you're just using it to fill and just using it to position stuff, you don't have to be careful in the fucking slightest about fingerprints. You can just get your fingers all up in that shit. So I was fixing the articulation. I decided I was going to have one arm out to the side, and then I was going to have one arm down. The Great Unclean One's left arm was going to be carrying a big blade of some kind, possibly a gigantic kitchen knife, or maybe even a gigantic meat cleaver. I quite like the meat cleavers because they look quite blunt and stuff like that, which is, quite nergly to have blunt weapons. So I was thinking of that. And then I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to do with the other arm, guys, because I think it's pretty cool. So I want you guys to see that as it's being done. So yeah, I was just fixing it in place and just getting the positions, making sure it was all okay for what I was going to use. After I was to finger about with the milliput, I was then going to focus on sculpting some of the belly details. As you can see there, guys, as well, I'm very sorry. I did some work on the leg, but my camera stopped recording, so I did like a whole leg on there. And then when I went to look for the footage, it was gone. So I only came to the conclusion that I didn't either press record or my camera ran out of battery. So sorry you guys didn't see that. But you guys get to see it on the other leg. And it just speeds up these videos. So I started by just smoothing out some green stuff over his belly. And after that, I would then start sinking stuff into it. What I did, because I hate fingerprints of green stuff, so I decided to blend it in at the edges, and then I would go over it with some more clay shaping tools and an eraser just to get rid of those fingerprints. Because what I was wanting obviously this big, massive, distended, horrible belly. I then wanted to have some big cuts in it, so I slit it with a craft knife, brand new X-Acto knife, and then I just flicked the edges so that they came apart like I had a big cut, and then it was just hanging open. Because afterwards I was going to have some guts coming out of this, which would look really cool. I then started work on his toenails. I gave him a bit of a pedicure. Ooh! Oh, your toenails look lovely, sir. Let me clip them for you. Anyway, so I decided to cut the toenails down because I didn't want him to have claws. I wanted him to have quite blunt nails on his feet. But then I was thinking to myself, it would be a cool idea to give him claws on his hands, which would be ace. Or maybe even just make him like he had fucking clubbed fingers, you know, really thick, horrible, dirty fingers. So rolled some more green stuff out, and then I applied it to the other side. Now, I was thinking to myself, what am I going to do for texturing? How am I going to do that? How am I going to texture a lot of this flat belly skin area? So I was thinking to myself, yeah, well, would he have battle damage? I was like, yes, he would have cuts and scars and things. Would he have boils? Most likely. And then I was like, well, hang on. What if I got some plastic card, cut some thin strips of it and use them as staples, like someone's stomach stapled in? And then I would, so I decided to cut out some tiny little tabs just to trial it out. And the result of it, well, I was very impressed. I really liked the result. I used them quite subtly as well. I was going to have them all over, but I thought, no. Maybe not. I might still have them on an arm, make them look a bit Frankenstein-like. But then I was like, never mind. But also, I used my, I bought a new clay shaper. I used a chisel tip clay shaper in order to tuck the edges underneath each other, and so that it appeared like it really had like two areas of flesh had been stapled, and the effect was amazing. I was very, very impressed. Although looking back at the miniature now, there's some horrendous fingerprints in it, which I'm not too chuffed about. So yeah, what am I doing now? I decided to go over with an eraser and just go over with a wet finger and just go over very, very quickly in order to get rid of some of the thumbprints and fingerprints out of it before I textured it. I would then get some more staples and staple it on this side. So it had two staples going, one horizontal and one in a vertical fashion. Then went in with my chisel tip clay shaper and tucked it in a little ball. Then went a little bit more. Then went with my cone tip and first with my cone tip I went in and smoothed it down. Then I went in with a chisel tip and made it so it was like tucked under. I then added some more cuts and some more holes in there in order to just break up the flat areas. What I was then thinking, the bit under his man tits, I would, his moobs, his man boobies, I would then make it all pockmarked. But first, I would use some cut in half green stuff balls, and then, yeah, green stuff balls, bitches. I would then push them into it in order to make it look like a bit like he had, lots of diseases festering away in his belly. I also used the inside of a pen lid in order to make some more boils and stuff, just to make them look a bit more inset and a bit more newer rather than the big, horrible, dirty, pustule-filled boils. So just started sinking them in, and I originally was just sinking them in completely as they are. Then I realised, fuck it, I can cut them in half and get double for my money. I can get double the balls for my money. So I thought that was a really good idea. I then rolled some more green stuff out before messing about with the skin flap there. I rolled some more green stuff out, and then I would apply it to the middle bit, just under his man titties, in order to create a, no, I wouldn't. What the fuck am I doing? Jesus fucking Christ. I think I was just messing with it whilst I was rolling the green stuff. Come on. Take too much time rolling green stuff. For now on, I'm going to roll my green stuff off camera, so you guys don't have to look at all the green stuff rolling. Ah, yes. Yeah, I was pressing it under his midriff and just smoothing it down because this was going to make like a load of pock marks and stuff. Zoom the camera in for you guys so you can see how I do it. Literally just stab at it with a blunt, stabby tool end. Just keep poking at it until you've got a nice, horrible looking pock marked texture. Literally, it's just a case of stab, 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 stab. One of the great things as well to do, guys, is on the areas where you've got two different bits of skin, blend them in with whatever you're doing. I wasn't too fussed about the spacing between these pot marks because I was going to sink some more boils and some more balls into them to make them look more boily. So again, did some more scraping, did some more plucking, did some more stabbing, and yeah, so that's how I achieved that little panel there. And we're coming to the end of the video, guys. So please let me know how this video went. If you'd like to see more of the Great Unclean one, if you'd like the idea of me running two Let's Builds along the side of each other, side by side. So guys, that is pretty much it for this episode. Well, the pioneering episode. We've done a lot today. We've done a fucking shit ton on this episode. So yeah, guys, thank you very much for listening, and I will see you guys again. See you now. See you listening? Fucking, I can't speak! God fucking damn it, I can't speak! But yeah, guys, so thank you for watching, should I say. And I'll see you guys on the next either Let's Build a Stomper or Let's Build a Stomper. Fuck, my mind has turned to actual shit. On the next Let's Build a Mine Layer or next Let's Build a fucking Great Unclean one. Fucking shitballs. See you guys again. Goodbye.